This is Dave Barker, Minnesota State University Ed Moorhead graduate, class of 2012, which is a long story. But we're going to talk now about investigations, and I did a lot of investigations. Then I'm going to show you one that took 3 hours. Investigations can, if you kind of know what you're doing, you're working with a lot of good producers and photographers and writers, you can get them done fairly quick. First one is called Toxic Shock Syndrome.
I followed all those directions. I used them according to the manufacturer's directions, and I still got it.
Rosemary Parkinson is back to her normal routine after a battle that nearly killed her. She decided to go public with UPN 9 News for the first time and talk about her devastating experience with toxic shock syndrome.
Both my feet had to be amputated. 6 of my fingers had to be partially amputated. It was a horrible year for everybody.
5 years ago, she was a workout fanatic, an incredibly busy mother of 3 young boys. She felt bad at dinner one night, was using high absorbency tampons at the time. She had classic TSS symptoms, a lot like the flu. Sudden high fever, vomiting, a sunburn-like rash, diarrhea, muscle aches. Because of an out-of-court settlement with a major tampon manufacturer, she's agreed not to reveal what products she was using. Leading tampon researcher Dr. Philip Tierno of NYU says not all tampons are safe. He did some of the original independent research on the toxic shock syndrome scare 20 years ago when there was an explosion of more than 2,200 cases. Scores of women died. He helped find a link between high-absorbent tampons and TSS. Products containing cancer-causing high-absorbent fibers were taken off the shelves, and the death rates came down. But the issue of high absorbency is again worrying this researcher.
Now, circa 2000, manufacturers are being allowed to put back superabsorbent products.
However, the senior scientist for tampon manufacturer Tampax told us by phone that TSS does not occur by using a tampon. It is a bacteria that exists and is commonly found in the vaginal area.
There's been more research on the chlorine bleaching of coffee filters than on tampons.
New York Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney disagrees and is demanding clearer answers on tampon safety. She introduced a bill earlier this year that calls for new tampon testing. Until Congress acts, Dr. Tierno suggests women stay away from ultra-absorbent tampons.
No justification nor good reason for using an ultra-absorbent product.
Ever.
Not needed. Absolutely not.
Rosemary Parkinson now wishes she had learned the warning signs of TSS earlier. And the very day she got home from the hospital, she learned the warnings were always there. She just never thought to look for them.
And I knew I had a box of unopened tampons in my closet. So the first thing I did was I crawled up those steps and I got that box out and read that warning. And I looked at the symptoms and I'm like, yes, why didn't I see it then?
The next story I'm going to show you took 3 days. A true bona fide investigation. And keep in mind here that I love firefighters. They've saved my life on occasion. Got many friends who are firefighters all over around the country. But remember, sometimes you're going to be doing investigations that you're not going to like doing. And here's a really good example of that for me.
Dave Barker has more on today's bombshell announcement. Dave?
Well, Denise, you remember we first told you about the story on Monday. We showed you firefighters in uniform breaking city laws and departmental policies. Well, today the hammer came down from the top, and it came down very hard.
We're here today to talk about trust.
This is what Mayor White is afraid of, that residents, many of whom saw what our hidden camera captured on St. Patrick's night, may now be questioning their trust in those sworn to protect them.
Our citizens can't be living in neighborhoods wondering whether the fire division will arrive on time, wondering whether they will arrive in a condition in order to do their job.
We found firefighters breaking several city policies, drinking in a local bar, using obscene language, breaking city laws with open containers on the streets. I got green underwear. And in one case, a firefighter dropped part of his full dress uniform.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
In fact, he dropped his pants twice to customers at this bar in the Flats. As a result, firefighter Clay Tomash was today charged with drinking in a bar, indecent exposure, and obscene language. Firefighter Johnny Tetrick is charged with inappropriate behavior and drinking in a bar, all violations of city policy. Battalion Chief Lloyd Root, a departmental leader as a fire marshal, has been fired. Lieutenant Patrick Doherty, demoted to the rank of firefighter. These harsh penalties follow the accidental death of firefighter Mike Shaughnessy in July of 1994. He was on duty and had a blood alcohol level 2.5 times the legal limit.
Unfortunately, despite his death, recent incidents have shown that we still have a long way to go.
A full policy review, drug and alcohol counseling, alcohol and drug spot checks for all local fire stations will begin immediately. Eric.
All right, the next one took 3 hours, and this was a true investigation. So we just simply call it the Porno Welfare Motel.
The Hilltop Motel is located right off Tennessee Avenue in North Bergen. This healthcare worker helps some of the homeless families here.
I would rather live in the street than to live in a place like this. They don't even keep dogs in a place like this.
We were invited into one room shared by Carmen Roblino, her 8-year-old daughter Jessica, and 10-month-old son Joshua. The first thing you notice, an overpowering stench.
No matter what I do, mop, spray everything, it does not go away.
In the bathroom, holes in the ceiling, behind the door, and in the floor. A broken glass door leads to a filthy tub. In the rest of the apartment, rat droppings were everywhere. The air is stifling because of a broken air conditioner and a window they can't open. The children play near the exposed wires of electrical outlets, and they can't watch the television.
I can't even let my daughter watch anything, any regular channels, because it's only pornography.
That's right. The only channel on the TV in the room provided by the county welfare agency is hardcore pornography. The family was placed here after Carmen lost her job and apartment in Jersey City.
Everybody in their life, falls. And I fell, and I'm on the street with my kids, and basically this is what they gave me.
Her sister brings food and tries to help, but it does little good.
It hurts because I tried everything to help her, and I'm barely making it myself, and I hated to see the kids in here like this, because I thought the state is supposed to help you a little bit more.
After calling county welfare, we went to the office.
Those rooms are disgusting.
We learned that after our call, the county welfare director ordered the family moved. And watch the reaction when we took the Roblinos to their new temporary home at another motel.
It's clean.
I love it. And it's so nice. And I love this place.
You know what? No rats.
No rats or no holes.
And a clean room with clean images on the TV.
We appreciate, and hopefully we start working on other families that are in the same situation.
Really unbelievable stuff. You want to really get good and feel good about yourself in this business. We've done things, and humbly, again, changing laws. I've raised millions of dollars for cause. I say me, but it was our whole crew for things. I've changed, policy in New York with things. Actually saved lives. I once did a thing where I went into the water in a car with people all around me to show people how to get out of a car when it was submerged. Found out a year later, a woman and her daughter remembered what we said in that report: seatbelt, window, get out. We said it 1,000 times, and she said, I remembered that seatbelt window, got out, and I got me and my daughter out. So you can change the world here, and investigations is a really good way to do it. And nowadays, I'm telling you, investigations can be somewhat expensive, so push to do them. Because nowadays a lot of stations have kind of pulled back on their investigations budgets, so push, bring them back.